Hey, what's going on, Clipper people? It is me, William the Opinion Updike.
And I am Positive Chuck Mockler. Welcome back.
Hey, always great to be back. And today we're talking your Twitter Tuesday questions. Every single Monday we take your questions on Twitter. That's at Locked On Clips. Can't wait to get into that. And then we'll also be talking about some possible playoff rotations if Norm is to return to the lineup. What does that look like? Who is out? And then we're also going to talk about maybe the worst proposed trade I've heard all season, courtesy of First Things First. So all that and more coming up right about now.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome to Locked On Clips Twitter Tuesday. Here at Locked On Clips, we're coming at you 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Make us your first listen. Got to let you know today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Check out prizepicks.com and use promo code NBA or go to your app store and download the app today. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. Let's get into these Twitter Tuesday questions. Thank you to everyone who sent these in. Clipper Spencer, bringing up some tough memories with this first question. Clipper Spencer, shout out to the leader of the Batum Battalion also. Hope you're doing well, Spencer. He said, last year it felt like the Rondo Cousins minutes really killed us versus the Suns. Now that we have upgraded our depth, do we stand a chance against them in a series, or is the talent gap too wide with Kawhi out for that to make a difference?
Man, it is still a pretty wide gap. Like, that is an uphill battle.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does the roster feel a little bit more sound? I would say
absolutely.
In a lot of ways, definitely. And in a lot of ways where these guys have been tasked and challenged throughout the regular season in a way that, like, they wouldn't normally get these kind of minutes. They wouldn't normally be put in these kind of positions, right?
Yeah.
So I just feel like you have everybody, it was stay ready last season. Now this season, I feel like it's been ready.
They actually had to be ready this season. Yeah.
Yeah. For like basically the roster top to bottom. So I mean, I think it's interesting. We've already said, like, basically, unless Kawhi comes back, we're not going to have the conversation about how this is the 8th seed. It's not like any other 8th seed that's ever been or 7th seed. That's not like any other 7th seed that's ever been a 7th seed, because we talk as fans, we talk ourselves into this every single season, and every single season there's a difference between a 2 seed and a 7th seed.
I think that's fair. I think he is right. The roster is upgraded. We don't have a Rondo or Cousins sized hole really. But yeah, that the Suns are, I think the Suns specifically, I'm not sure. I think that's a lot harder of a test. Against, the Grizzlies, the Grizzlies are tough too. Yeah, it's just
Grizzlies are tough. It doesn't really line up that well with, how we've defended things as of late, but having Paul George back does change that a little bit. Having some more scoring obviously changes that.
Right.
And it's, it's a young team. I don't know. Either one is going to be a hard challenge. And like I said, it's going to be an uphill battle. If Norm returns, sure, that changes things a little bit.
I think he's 100% returning.
The only way that I'm ready to say, like, it's a go is if Kawhi is back. And then I'm saying 5 games.
Oh, then my middle fingers will be up.
5 games. We're on to the second round. We've already had our hardest challenge. We're going to cakewalk into the finals.
Let's go. All right. Hell yeah. Toasty Guy 0901 asks, is a Mook trade in the offseason inevitable? Coffey's rise and the acquisition of Rocco has made our rotation too deep to be fair to everyone who deserves minutes, and Morris is the most expendable of the bunch due to age and contract size. So this kind of leads into another question too. Clipset1 asks, what's the outlook for re-signing Rocco and kind of what our contract and money would be for him? So I think that's where Toasty Guy, it's like, first of all, we got to make sure we re-sign Rocco because we all want that to happen. And I think it's only, I don't know if inevitable is the word I would use, but definitely not out of the question is the phrase I would use. Because if the Clippers can get younger in that position, I don't know if they can get better. I don't know what Morris's contract can net you in terms of like maybe someone who's slightly worse.
So I kind of disagree.
Potential. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know what we get for Morris. That would be a huge upgrade. Like, I don't know who's giving us young talent.
I agree, and the thing is with Morris is, like, there's still years left on that. It's not an expiring yet, so I think that makes it like a little bit harder of a proposition.
That's
for
a good call.
Teams, and teams who are going to take on an expiring contract aren't really eager to give up young talent
Right.
And the thing is like I also do firmly believe like we owe it to everybody like one more shot at the
Legit
whole
shot.
thing.
Yeah.
One more shot at the whole thing, like with the band together. And I think the only way you make a trade is if it's, you think you can get a known upgrade.
A giant swing is what it feels like. It feels like Morris would be involved in a trade where it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Like I think you got to go, maybe all in on something. I don't know. Like, because Morris for like 2 role players that are like younger, I got to be honest, that's not really moving the needle for me.
Because we are so deep. And this kind of goes to that last question, right? Like, we're so deep that we also need Morris. Like, it's not like we've had this season where we've been so deep that these guys are like just chilling on the bench. We've needed every single part of this roster. And next season, look, it's another season. It's another year on these guys' legs. We're going to need our whole roster again next year. We're going to play 15 guys, 14 guys, stuff like that some nights. So like, there's no such thing as too much depth, and there's no such thing as too much continuity with this Clippers.
And there's no
team.
such thing as too much wings.
Literally in food and basketball, it's just how it works. But I will say, I feel like at the same time, I feel like he's maybe the most likely guy to be traded.
Of like
if we resign
the bigger of the bigger guys, yeah, for sure. And like, I just wouldn't call it inevitable.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it an inevitability, but a possibility for sure.
And then what
100%.
are we looking at? What would you give Rocco for his contract? To answer Clipset's one question. 2 years, 80 million? 2 for 80?
2 for 80?
3 for 175.
Like whatever, we won't have whatever the taxpayer exemption is. I think that's like 5.
But don't we got to use that?
Something?
Don't we got to use that on all Hart?
I don't know. Nah. Not if it's Rocco or Hart.
So Rocco or Hart, you're taking Rocco.
Yeah, of course. It's not even a conversation for me personally.
I think that's fair.
And I mean, I like Hart. I think that he's a good player. I mean, if he doesn't end up staying with his team, like that's kind of an exciting raw piece to see what could happen with that player.
Yeah, that's fair.
For the Clippers are at right now, Rocco is the better fit.
Yeah, that's true. And then also, Batum has the player option for next season as well. But we got to assume that he'll be coming back. Let's hope so. I don't know what I'd give Rocco. I just want him to stay on the team because, again, we need every wing that we can possibly get. Blackjack OC says if we can...
He's currently at like 12 a year? Yeah, I don't think we can get there.
It'll be less. He won't take 12 a year again. He will not come back.
All right, sorry for interrupting. Continue with the great questions.
Blackjack OC says, if we can assume Hood is gone next year, are we making room for Scrub or Moon?
Can we?
I don't know. I think it's Scrub.
Can we assume that he's gone next year?
Damn. All right. That's actually a very good point. Yes.
I don't know. My thing is, of any of these 3 players, one is a known quantity in the NBA and the other 2 are not.
Moon is more of a quantity than Scrub, and he brings better vibes just based on what Reggie Jackson said. So
he said explicitly better vibes than Scrub.
Yeah, he laid it out very clearly. I don't know. I think you're right. I don't know if we can assume Hood is gone. We're also going to probably buy into the second round again. We do that every year. So there's going to be some random guy we pick up. Maybe a project big who has some shooting issues. Race, Rayce, asks, is Memphis a scarier first-round matchup than the Suns? Stylistically, I think we're built to beat a team like the Suns more so than a young athletic team like Memphis. I kind of agree with Race here.
There's also a lot of young athletic players on the Suns. What are we doing here, man? Both of these teams are really, really hard.
No, they're both hard, but I see where he's going, right? Like, because the Grizzlies, they're sprinting at you for 48 minutes. Like, they're just their transition kills the Clippers. Ja Morant's obviously a different kind of stylistically point guard than Chris
Suns
Paul.
Also good in transition.
Right. You see what he's saying, though. And I agree with him. I think first round, the Grizzlies are going to be an issue. Second round is where things get a little different just because they're a young team in the playoffs. But I
guess first round, you make a good point, too, because like first round is a little...
Yeah,
it's a little different.
They're losing their minds in Memphis in that first round.
Yeah, like when you haven't accumulated all the minutes and everything. I don't know, man. Both really, really difficult. I think
Not a fun choice.
I think in a playoff series, I would rather take on the Grizzlies.
All right, that's legit. I can see it both ways. Coming up, we're going to be talking some more playoff rotations. Who's getting squeezed out? Kind of an interesting conundrum there. But first, Will, if I wanted to use like an NBA DFS prop game, what should I use?
You got to check out Prize Picks because Prize Picks has the best NBA DFS prop game on the market, buddy. Prize Picks offers more NBA props than any other DFS prop operator and offers all the superstar players as well as bench players that only record a handful of minutes each game. Prize Picks offers any prop you can think of, from yardage to touchdowns, even interceptions thrown. And right now, anybody who deposits and uses the promo code NBA can receive a 100% instant deposit match. That's up to $100, free $100 if you use that promo code NBA. So here's how it works. You pick 2 to 5 players and an over-under on their projections, and you can win up to 10 times any entry. And it's just you versus the projected numbers. No funny business. Prize Picks allows mixed sport entries. You can take the over on LeBron combined with the under on Mahomes in the same entry. If you're taking the under on Mahomes this time of season, smart bet. Use the award-winning app on both the App Store and Google Play. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. Prize Picks is safe and offers fast withdrawals, so don't hesitate. Check out prizepicks.com and use promo code NBA, or go to your app store and download the app today. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. All right, so we've talked NBA prop operators. Where can I bet on everything, possibly online?
You can do that at Bet Online. Right now, as we're recording this, the most important college basketball game is happening. Let's go Jayhawks. From all the latest odds, contests, and player props, BetOnline is the #1 source for all your sports betting needs and info. You can bet on basketball. You can bet on cricket. You can bet on, maybe football. Who knows? Women's basketball, let's do it too. Tennis, why not? They remain the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. It's not just basketball. They are your #1 source for sporting wagering information needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino games. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and actions over at BetOnline, which is, of course, as you remember, where the game starts.
All right, so we're back, and we're talking some playoff rotation.
Yeah.
And with Paul George back, possibly with some other members to return.
Norm's going to be back.
Who's getting squeezed out?
So this is such an interesting, and we got a question from the Lob the Jam who asked whose minutes lose when Norm returns. Just to paint the picture, Clips are locked into the 8th seed. We're most likely playing Minnesota at this point. As of this recording, the Nuggets are 2 games up on Minnesota with 3 games left. The Jazz are 1.5 games up with 4 games left. They might completely melt down. Who knows about that? But there is some wiggle room, but it's probably going to be Minnesota. And we're getting into this Lob the Jam, the podcast question. Who loses minutes when Norm returns? It seems like Norm's just going to be back. People are just talking around the Clippers like he's going to be back. 1 or 2 games, I believe, is what Morris said. So let's run down, forget about the regular season. Let's run down this playoff rotation. We have for sure in the rotation, and stop me if you disagree with any of these, for sure in the Clippers playoff rotation, Reggie Jackson, Paul George, Robert Covington, Nick Batum, Marcus Morris, Ivica Zubac, Norman Powell. Those 7 guys, 100% in our playoff rotation.
Yeah, definitely.
Borderline, but 90% in Terrence Mann.
100%.
Yeah, they're in the rotation when it works. Hart and Luke. And then not in the rotation, Brandon Boston Jr., Amir, Rodney.
Okay, so I guess a couple of things. I think Mann is almost assuredly in the rotation.
100% in the rotation.
100% in the rotation.
I
just don't really see a scenario where he's not in, a rotation.
His point of attack defense is huge for what you need in the playoffs with his size, and he can kind of guard multiple positions. So this, Luke is the one who's squeezed out with Norm coming back.
Luke, yeah. And then already with Paul George back, we've seen a huge decline in Amir's minutes. I don't know that I would completely count him out of the playoff rotation yet, just because, we got what here? 8 guys?
Yeah, true.
That you've listed. We've got 8 guys. So I wouldn't
and tile
completely
shuffle
out. I guess you have 10 if you include the Hart and Luke things. But yeah, I don't know that Amir is fully out, but I agree. Otherwise, and yeah, Hart and Luke are going to be in the rotation when it works. I would put Luke higher. I would put Luke. Also, Luke is probably he's for sure in the rotation. Like
for sure.
I'm not saying that the minutes are going to be the same. There is zero chance that this guy is not playing in the playoffs.
Do you think he, in a 7-game series, so say Clippers do their thing, make it through the play-in, 1 game, no problem. Let's get out of here. 7-game series, how many DNPs does Luke get? None? And this isn't a knock on Luke either. Like, so Joseph Rye Ward, friend of the show, host of Clipset, co-host, said he listed off some Clippers catch and shoot 3 percentages. Luke, obviously top, 45.5%. Unbelievable. Marcus Morris, 44%. Reggie, 45%. Norm, 43%. Terrence, 41%. Nico is a Clipper, 40%. Amir, 38%. Rocco, 46% as a Clipper, 37% the last 2 seasons. So like seeing that all laid out, kind of like in terms of catch and shoot, it's not super far away from how elite Luke is. Not saying Luke is an elite, but these other guys do more things kind of playoff basketball wise that make me think they get minutes over Luke. And again, for those of you listening in Ohio, this is not a knock on Luke Kennard. There's just not enough spaces sometimes in playoff basketball.
So I see what you're saying, and there definitely is value to having guys that, you know, are better two-way players.
Yeah.
So once again, sorry, Luke Kennard.
They just are.
But Luke Kennard and like finding Luke Kennard, the hunt for Luke Kennard, if you will, has been such a point of this offense and this season that I'm not seeing it like completely disappearing in a playoff games. Will he be out there in high leverage moments? Probably not. Unless in the high leverage moment, what we need is a quick 3.
Yeah. ATOs. We're going to see a lot of those. I feel like by a lot, I mean like 3.
I just think it kind of makes sense to have him there because with an offense that struggled, and this offense struggled even with Paul George.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, so that's another issue is the continuity given Norm and Robert Covington have had very limited time. I mean, Norm's had none. So, like, there will be times maybe in the playoffs when the continuity becomes a bit jammed up.
Yeah. And, I mean, like, I just think if you're asking yourself this question, like, sincerely, do you think the Clippers' offensive playbook currently has more plays designed for Luke Kennard or for Norm Powell?
Luke Kennard, but Norm does more with the ball in his hands. But I would say Luke Kennard.
That's what I'm saying.
There we go.
I just can't say I can't say that he's completely like I don't
he's
see in a 7-game
series
Luke getting 7 DNPs.
Right. But 2.
I don't see a universe where that happens. But if it does happen, you can call me a monkey's uncle. Go ahead, send me a letter, right? Monkey's uncle in big Sharpie letters.
2 DNPs I could see.
Yeah.
Out of 7 games. It's the playoffs. Ty Lue's a tinkerer.
I don't know. I don't think I'm seeing him not touching the ball at all.
All right. Full rotation player Luke Kennard in the playoffs. Full updike. Do we have concerns? I kind of mentioned the continuity with Norm, Rocco, and PG because they will all 3 share the floor at some point in the playoffs.
What do you mean by concerns?
Like, I mean, are we concerned the offense is going to get jammed up, basically? Defense, I'm not worried about. Covington and PG already play great defense together. But there's going to be some growing pains, right? Like, pretty high usage guy you're bringing back who doesn't know how to catch and shoot, thankfully, who has not played with Paul George at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I think possibly, like, I think that Norm, though, in coming here, knowing that 1 to 2 superstars would be coming back, had to have been pretty understanding of like the off-ball role of what he would be doing. And sure, we haven't had a chance to get it integrated, but it's not like he's not at practices and like talking to people and they're talking about sets and they're like, hey, when you're healthy, you'll probably be here.
Stand here.
So Is it ideal? No. Like there hasn't been time for the whole thing to really like coalesce and come together. I don't know that I necessarily have
concerns.
I don't know that I necessarily have concerns.
Yeah.
There's just been too little to see for me to really like be concerned.
Be worried, right? Yeah. I just want to see it.
Yeah.
Like in some version, I just want to see these three guys together.
I just need to see it. And the thing is too, is like, if Norm was a point guard, like a true point guard that was going to be running a lot of the offense, I think I would be a lot more concerned.
Yeah.
I just don't think that that's going to be something that's going to be thrust on him after playing only 3 games and like jumping into like
the playoffs,
however many regular season games he gets to play before the playoffs. So that has me less worried. And then Rocco,
he's great.
I mean, like, dude, he's the kind of player that he is. Like, he's a 3-and-D guy.
Yeah.
He's a guy who's, he's played winning basketball on different teams.
He knows what
to do. I have very little concern for Robert Covington as far as integration is concerned.
That's a good call. Stu Quinn, real quick, shout out Stu Quinn, says, what is our death lineup, assuming Norm but no Kawhi? He said the big death lineup is Norm, PG, Nico, Morris, Zoo. And then small is Reggie, Norm, PG, Nico, Rocco.
I like it.
I would maybe put Terrence in for Norm on the small. If
I was going to say with the big lineup, I think, I still think maybe you want another point guard in there.
Yeah.
But and that to me kind of goes back more into like your concerns about continuity.
Yeah.
Is the closing lineup like with Norm as the de facto point guard? Like, I don't think we're ready for that.
Yeah. Well, PG will be that point guard, right? Like, I feel like if Norm's out
that's
there,
true.
PG's
that's true. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. So that you know what? That could be a possibility. I like the idea of it. Once again, I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen anything close to it yet.
And just from the last few games, well, I mean, really since he's been traded, it's a little difficult for me to imagine a death lineup with no Robert Covington.
I agree, 100%. Is
that crazy?
It's not crazy at all. It's the sanest thing I've heard all freaking day. Speaking of not sane things, we're going to talk about the worst trade proposal that we've heard in a very long time. But first, we got to give a shout out to Rock Auto. This episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing number of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure often pointless or seemingly intimidating questioning? Sir, get out of the car. Sir, you cannot yell at me from your car. And wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts of their computer, choosing the only brand they happen to carry. It's nuts. Rock Auto, they can save you money. Why spend up to 30, 50, even 100% more for the same parts? It's crazy. Rock Auto is a family business serving DIYers for over 20 years. They have everything you can need, from brake parts, tail lamps, motor oil, and even new carpet. Check out your own car part needs. Discover how Rock Auto can help and share, just with anyone who needs an auto part. Headlight, no problem. Go explore their easy-to-use website today and find the solution for your auto parts needs. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Right, locked on in their How Did You Hear About Us box, so they know we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com.
All right, so we're back with Shavings, which is just every single day. This is kind of where we wrap up everything else floating around the Clipper sphere, the NBA sphere, the whatever sphere. This is the metaverse of Clippers podcast.
Yeah. It is now time to put the VR goggles on if you're listening to this podcast. All right, so the worst idea of all time was proposed on First Thing First, which is a new show. It's the new version of First Take, but it's called First Things First. I don't know what's going on anymore with these shows. These shows. How do you even watch this on your freaking tablet? They suggested that LeBron James initiates a trade to the Clippers for Paul George or Kawhi. What?
Why? For either side.
Why? What the fuck is this? I don't curse on this podcast very often. This is so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, look, LeBron is here.
No, go ahead.
LeBron is in Los Angeles to be a Laker. Like,
he's not here to be a Clipper.
Period. I mean, of course they wanted to win. Like, and they did win a chip right out the gate. Not right out the gate. That there was that first LeBron season, but
sure.
it's about. It's not about winning, I feel like, to a certain extent, right? Like this phase
Not
of
this
LeBron's
year.
career.
Yeah.
I'm sure he, would absolutely love to get another chip or two to add to the trophy case. But like that to me doesn't seem to be like that wasn't the only driving goal towards making this move. So I don't really see him. I don't really see the impetus for him to
Bring the
usher in a
Clippers their
trade.
first chip. Like, it would make
Yeah.
me. I think LeBron James is one of the greatest basketball players of all time. If you're of our age, you've seen just the evolution of maybe someone with the most pressure on them from the youngest age kind of handle it for the most part. But it would. I don't know what I would do if we get a chip with LeBron because we traded Kawhi or PG. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, he's just leaving next year anyway. Like,
I mean, and like, both of these guys have had their own injury concerns over the past couple of years, but like he plays less and less games every year.
yeah,
Still a great player, still could take the right team to another chip for sure.
Sure.
Yeah, I just don't see this being a move of interest really for either party.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you're the Lakers, you'd love to get Kawhi or Paul George, but
yeah.
Like LeBron initiating this trade, I'm just not seeing it.
Initiate a trade is such funny phrasing too, as if LeBron's like, I would like to initiate this trade, and the Clippers and Lakers are like, fantastic. Let's get it done, LeBron. I don't know. Don't watch the clip. Don't give them engagement. Moving on to something in better news. FX has ordered the Sterling Affairs, which is the podcast by Ramona Shelburne about the Donald Sterling affairs, starring Lawrence Fishburne as Doc Rivers, about the downfall of Los Angeles Clippers under Donald Sterling amid the team's drive to win a championship. Not sure who's going to play Ballmer. I hope it's Kevin James. That's really my only notes on this.
That would be great. Yeah, that would be great.
I don't know. I feel like I'm excited to see how they do like the no sponsors game, just in terms of filming it. That will be interesting. The is this your handwriting scene is going to be absolutely nuts. The question was, is this your handwriting? Is there a part of you that thinks this might be kind of trash TV?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm interested to see what they do with it. I mean, I guess maybe they'll focus more on Doc because it's Lawrence Fishburne is there. Because like Donald Sterling as a character is not a character I think anybody is going to want to watch.
Right.
5 episodes even of a television show.
Sure.
About.
Him
you
being
gotta have
racist.
you got to have some sort of hero or something to offset that a little bit to balance that. So I'm curious to see what they'll do there.
I hope it's more focused on Doc. It has to be. That was such an insane time, like in such a horrific position to be put in as a head coach. But yeah, I think we're going to see some clips of this on Twitter with captions like, I can't believe FX filmed this scene. It's going to be like someone throwing a soda in Donald Sterling's face or something like that, which will be funny. And should be.
Who's playing Stiviano?
No idea. Maybe
Also
Cardi B.
James.
Yeah, Kevin James is doing a lot in this movie. And then finally,
I want this movie to be Norbit, but
Kevin James, everybody,
and about the Sterling affairs.
You want it to be a comedy, is what you want.
Yeah,
this will be interesting. We will definitely watch it. Honestly, this sounds like off-season content, so mark your calendars for the off-season because we will 100% be talking about this during the off-season. And then finally, got to shed some light on the sweet new championship belt tradition the Clippers do. The best player from each game gets the championship belt. This was created by Reggie Jackson and Vince George, a security guard for the Clippers. This is a fun time. I was on a hockey team that was very bad in high school, and it was of the era. And so we had the pimp chalice was what they would give to people if you had a good game. It broke our first game, which we won, lost 10 games in a row after that. So I hope they don't. Fun time though. I hope they don't break the belt. What other championship items could the Clippers have or clothing items do you think the Clippers could have a championship version of?
I mean, you got the belt. What about winner's pants?
Dude, winner's pants? That would be sick. Just silver
Just-
pants?
Yeah, or just solid gold or solid bronze pants.
Dude, the gold gingham.
You gotta put the you gotta put the winner's pants on.
Dude, winner's pants would be good. I think gold gingham is up there. Just wear or a bronzed gingham shirt that's actually Ballmer's shirt that you have to put on. Either way, this is a fun time. Anything else in shavings? Anything else you want to get off your chest, Will?
No, I don't think so. This, glad to be back. Excited
Yeah,
for
long hiatus.
long hiatus. Yeah, excited to see what happens when Norm comes back. If he comes
He's
back.
just gonna be back. Wednesday's episode, we're gonna be previewing Clippers vs Suns, which will be the Suns on the second night of a back-to-back. So we should be looking pretty good. Hey, what you say Wednesday poll? Look out for that over at Locked On Clips on Twitter, and of course, whatever else happens between now and then in Clipperland. Will, if someone wanted to review this podcast with words or just with stars, where could they possibly do that?
So you can review us over on Apple Podcasts or the podcast app on your mobile device. You can also review us over on Spotify, all like on whatever device you listen on over there. You can listen to us on either one of those platforms. You can also listen to us on Google Podcasts. We're on Amazon Music. We're on Stitcher. We're on Deezer. Anywhere you get your podcast, you can probably find this show. I think we mentioned up top, but we do come at you Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Pacific. Hey, these clips, it's almost the end of the season. Stay with us. You've been here this long.
Is it almost the end?
Go now?
We got to give a shout out to SHM59. They gave us a 5-star review over on iTunes. They mentioned that they've picked up some phrases like scuttlebutt and putting their tinfoil hats on and started using them more frequently in their daily life. Thank you. I hope that we can bring...
I hope this is in a work meeting.
Yes, some unhinged vocabulary to your daily life. They said, even the lowest points and most hopeless slumps throughout the season, these guys remind me why I love this team so much. Keep doing a fantastic job, fellas. We'll do our best. We do it because the listeners are so fantastic. If you're listening to a Clippers podcast, you know what it is. I have been Positive Chuck Mockler.
And I am William the Opinion Updike. As always, we appreciate you.